Welcome back to the DLC Cafe, the gaming talk show where we encourage you to sit down with a cup of your favorite hot beverage as we discuss this week's latest gaming news before ending off with something fun and sweet. It is I, E, and other E, and H joining you today.
I think Hunter should change his name to an E, and then we can be the new E3.
Let's just
Hey,
hey, yo. Or we could be Ed, and Eddie, potentially.
we can just change our names legally.
You know, yeah, for
Always
sure.
an option, right?
That's fine.
yeah. But for real though, I'm Ethan, also known as GameWiz. We got Eric, also known as King Levchuk, and Hunter, also known as Bean Credit. The gang. What can I
Gang's
say?
all back, bro.
Yeah. All right. So as always, gentlemen, what are we drinking tonight?
I've got blueberry tea tonight. It's very hot. I'm gonna spill it, so I'm just gonna leave. It's like you can see it in this area. Maybe if I get my hands to focus. There we go. I create the center of the blue
we
tea.
still never got that spill counter up and going. I think
No, and we don't
might
need
have-
to. That's season 2. That comes in season 2.
Season 2? Okay.
Season 2 special.
Yeah.
I got peach tea. I've never tried it. You should
I was gonna go for the peach tea tonight, and I didn't.
Really? I'm excited.
It was on the
It
fence.
smells really good, so.
All right, well, see, here's the thing, gentlemen. Here's the tea, if you will. I'm not actually drinking tea. Well,
Oh,
technically I am,
All right, get out.
but I'm having a Monster energy drink right now because a young
Not
lad
even
is
a hot beverage.
yeah, no, listen, because a young lad is tired and has more work to do after this podcast. But I saw this in the supermarket the other day, and I just was curious about it. It's Monster Rehab, it's called. And
Okay.
so hold on though. Oh, over here. Tea plus lemonade though. So technically,
Oh, okay. I see what you-
technically,
Yeah.
yeah. And
I
honestly,
got it.
So it's an iced tea lemonade.
yes, it actually straight up tastes like an Arnold Palmer. It actually doesn't taste bad at all. It's actually really, really good.
Damn.
Interesting.
But you put
Yeah.
it in a mug to try to fool us? Is that what you did?
we've we've been
So was your
playing.
intention to fool us and then just come out right off the bat and say that you don't have tea, or
Did you
was the
intend to
plan
make us look
fool
like
us?
fools?
And then as soon as we started, you were like, you know what? I feel too bad. I have to be honest with my buddies and all of our fans out there. So I have to come clean.
I'm an honest soul. What can I say?
An honest soul.
okay.
You know. I thought it would just be
I see.
kind of funny. You know,
Yeah,
add a
that's
little
fair.
spice, a little bit of fun. So, as I said, it tastes like an Arizona. So that brings me to today's fun opening question. What's your
Okay.
guys' favorite flavor of Arizona?
Oh, I think it's mucho mango right now. I haven't had
Mucho
Arizona.
mango.
But I'm a sucker for a good mango drink.
Okay.
You're
I have not
Arizona.
tried
I'm
that
a
one.
sucker for a mango drink.
Flavors.
I'm just gonna pick one randomly.
I
Oh.
don't really drink it much, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Fair.
you give me your favorite and then we'll see.
Okay.
Oh, okay. For a long time, it was definitely the Arnold Palmer. That was definitely my go-to
I
Arizona
don't think I've ever had that
for the
one.
longest time. It's really, really good.
Okay.
But recently, it's either been the kiwi strawberry or the
Ooh, okay.
lemonade.
The
Yeah.
lemonade's good. The lemonade's good.
Yeah, the lemonade's good. And I mean, always, of course, the Arizona green tea is a classic. It's a
True,
cultural,
true,
it's
true.
a cultural icon at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
The Arizona green tea.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. Mine is the Georgia peach green tea.
Oh.
Is that real?
okay.
That's real, right? I just looked it up.
I've never seen it truthfully.
Yeah, maybe it's not real, but we're gonna go with that. It sounds really
Yeah.
good. I would try it.
Mhm.
I'm usually
Yeah.
what are the knockoff ones that are really really cheap?
Ooh.
Oh, peace teas.
Beast.
Peace tea's good. I like
Peace
peace
tea's
tea.
good.
I
no,
like
peace
peace
tea's
tea.
good.
Peach
Yeah.
tea is good.
Yeah.
I like anything peach. Peach is really good.
Yeah.
Peach
I
is
learned
good.
that peace tea is like a Coca-Cola product.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Not
Yeah, yeah.
surprising,
Damn.
but interesting.
Also, another fun
Is it?
fact.
Hold on.
Yeah,
But
peace tea is
is it
Coca-Cola.
really?
If you look on the back, it says Coca-Cola company.
Pure Leaf is also Coca-Cola.
All right,
Hmm, I
Coca-Cola.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm
dominating
pretty
the
sure
market.
Pure Leaf is Coca-Cola.
Interesting.
So what doesn't Coca-Cola own?
Yeah, what doesn't
Uh,
Coca-Cola
honest-
Like
Honestly.
seriously.
Yeah. Oh, also, fun fact of the day. Here in Canada, at least I know. Maybe it's the same in other places, but if a product has tea in it, so like iced tea or even peace teas,
Yeah.
it is not taxable. Since it has tea in it, it is not taxable.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've been taxed on some drinks.
Yeah,
I think I
so-
have.
Back to the day, geez.
Yeah. So I
Interesting.
mean, probably from our British ancestors, that rule's still around. But
Damn,
Yeah,
I was about
probably.
to say. Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, hold on. I can. That's so. I'm on the Arizona site because we got. We ended up getting there.
Yeah,
I
okay,
can subscribe to get deliveries of Arizona iced tea every 14, 30, or 60 days.
Wow.
Wow.
14
That
it
can-
is.
I can get my mucho mango every 14 days,
Yes,
and it's a
sir.
12 pack. So like.
Oh, that's not
Jesus.
bad. That's not
Not bad
bad.
at
And I mean so it's the 6. Which size is this? I can't tell what size it is.
Mhm.
I think it's the okay, so it's the 16-ounce bottles,
Mhm.
and it's $25 for 12 of them.
Oh,
That ain't half bad.
yeah.
It's not like the big cans, but it's a pretty
Yeah.
decent price.
Honestly, I think the start of the end times will be when Arizona is no longer 99 cents and it's $1.01. That's when the end times
it's
will
already
come.
not 99 cents.
I mean, yeah, we're over here in Canada, so it's like $1.25, $1.30.
I know.
But over in America, when it goes to $1.01, that's the
That's
end
it.
times.
That's
We in
it.
That's the
trouble.
end times.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only way to get Arizona
I'm
in
calling it there.
the US.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's the only way to get like good iced tea. All the iced tea in the US is so bad. I hate it so
Yeah.
much.
Is it?
It's not
tea.
iced tea. It's
It's
sweet
sweet tea.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'm not a big fan of it either. You
No,
make
it's
that mistake.
bad.
You make that mistake once as a Canadian going over to the States and getting iced tea and realizing that it's sweet tea, and then never again.
Yeah, like if I
Absolutely
if
never
I ever
again.
had to move to the US, I think I would have to like get cases shipped of iced tea.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, if I go over to the States, I always ask if they have ginger ale because we're right by Michigan there. So and
Yeah,
if it's ginger ale, it's Werner's ginger ale. And
Werner's.
Werner's
okay.
ginger ale slaps.
Werner's is really, really good. Big fan.
Yeah.
It does like make your nose like a little like ooh.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much ginger.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
really good.
Mm-hmm. It slaps. It slaps quite hard. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm glad we're all Arizona fans here. I
No
would've been a
hot
little-
takes yet this
Yeah,
week.
there's no hot takes yet this week. I would have been a little disappointed if one of you two were like, I don't really like Arizona that much. I was, that would have been kind of bad.
That would have been bad.
That would have been bad.
That would have been questionable then.
Mhm.
Crisis averted.
Crisis
Yeah.
averted.
Man, you know what, boy? I'm not gonna lie. You know what was kind of bad? The news this week. This week was very dry.
Yeah,
For
really
news.
not much.
Really not much going on here, but we were still able to find a few stories to talk about. But I'm really excited for the fun segment later on. What is the fun segment later on? I'm not telling you yet. You got to get there first.
Wow. You
No, okay, now don't go look in the bio. Don't go look at the description.
don't go
of
look in the
this- of this live
description.
stream. No, no,
We'll
not
keep it a
allowed.
secret. It'll be really fun.
There's gonna be a secret between us.
Yeah. So anyway, why don't we get started on the news here, gentlemen? So, our first story of today is that Fortnite has now decided to permanently add a no building mode to the game. Crazy.
I think it's interesting.
It is.
Um,
Yeah, so let me just give a little context here first. So, on March 21st, they initially disabled building entirely. It was just all no building. There was no like separate game mode. It was just all no building. And so along with that, they added in a new rechargeable shield that you get right off the rip now. So I'm sure you guys know, like as you play Fortnite, you drink your pots.
drink my chug.
Yeah, you drink your jugs, right? To get your shield up.
Yeah, of
So
course.
yeah, right off the rip now, you get this shield that has 50 health to it, and it'll recharge, and that stacks on top of your original 100 shield that you can get. So technically, you can have now 250 hit points in total. So that's one of the changes they made. Another change that they made recently is you can now tactically sprint in the game too. So there's an actual like sprint now, and you can vault over objects and stuff now. You can actually climb on things, which I think is really, really cool. So, have any of you guys tried it since they've added no building at all?
I've tried a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My Xbox controller isn't. It's like a knockoff. Here, it's a knockoff. It's not a like legit Xbox controller.
Mm-hmm.
Thing
So it's
looks
not the
almost like old.
Yeah, so it's not the most fun for playing Fortnite, and I need to get new thumb grips for my PlayStation 4 controller.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I've played like a little bit, and I just found that like you need a good controller for it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I think I like the changes, but
Mhm.
man, are accurate guns just not as good anymore.
Man, some of the guns really do suck in that
You
game.
really need a good rapid fire gun. Just the fact that people can move so fast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like I played a bit of the first season because I just play with friends sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like why not? We'll play some Fort for a bit. And the Ranger was bad. The Ranger wasn't a good gun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You almost always pick it up the MK7 because it was just better.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember if the Ranger is still in season 2. If it is, it's definitely just worse. I wouldn't want the Ranger. I want fast spread shooting guns because people can move so fast now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah,
so-
it's an interesting change. I like it. Building was
Yeah.
annoying because you'd get to the end, you'd be the better team, and then someone just built a castle in front of you.
Yeah.
What's this?
Like a 5-star hotel. Like,
yeah,
easily.
exactly. Some kids
Oh,
cranking
wow.
90s on you, like
Yeah, and I'm
easy.
like, it's like
Mhm.
we were clearly the better team. We were doing really well, and then someone just built a castle on us, and then we couldn't do anything.
Mhm, mhm. I think it's a lot more. I mean, there's skill in both regards, but
Yeah,
now
oh,
I
yeah.
think it's really separating the people that mainly just have this cracked build skill and like
Right.
very subpar aim ability
Mhm.
to now we're the point where you have to be able to aim. You have to
Right.
have good aim.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's separated a lot of these, these 9 and 10-year
Schmucks.
olds that are just
Yeah.
absolutely cracked at building but can't aim and hit the broadside of a
Right.
barn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna touch on that too. I think it's an effort from the company to try to make the game a little bit more adult, a little bit more mature,
Mhm.
and I think it's doing that. I'm not really much of like a Fortnite player myself. I never really
Yeah.
played it much.
No, me either, really.
Yeah, I think it's a really good effort to try to shift their target market a little bit into a higher
Mhm.
age group.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
for
will
sure.
say, I think it was a great decision on their
Oh
part.
yeah.
Like, I'll admit,
Oh yeah.
it pulled me back in to try.
Right.
I
It
me and
pulled a
my
lot of
friends
people back in.
exactly. I think
Yeah.
it's pulled a lot of people back in,
Mm-hmm.
and I played for like 3 or 4 days at least. Like
Right.
that was me and my boys' main game for a little bit just to
Yeah.
try it
Yeah.
out and have fun with it.
I honestly think like they can't go wrong with a decision like that. They do it for a little bit, whatever. Some like 9-year-olds are a little upset, but it brings a whole bunch of people back in.
Mhm.
Like they're gonna have more players for that time, and then in like 3-4 weeks, if they did, say they didn't like it, obviously they made it a game mode now. If they didn't
Mhm.
like it, then they just go back. Like
Mhm.
no harm, no foul,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
they've made the separate game modes. The 9-year-olds are satisfied. They can play their hotel building, whatever that is. That's fine.
Or
And
hotel
then
building
they're-
simulator.
Exactly. Hotel
Yeah.
building simulator. And then their older audience can enjoy like the actual like shooter game aspect of the game. So I think it's really, really
Yeah.
smart.
Mhm. And
I think it's no.
Sorry,
Go
on.
ahead.
Oh, okay. What I was gonna say, yeah, is it's cool to see that they weren't just limiting this to a limited time event. They actually said, okay, we're gonna make 2 separate game modes
Right.
now,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah,
think
I
is
think it's really
awesome.
cool.
And not a lot of companies do that with their
Nope.
limited
No.
time game modes. For example, Rainbow Six, most limited time game modes don't stick around forever, which
Right.
is kind of the fun of it in a way. You only have this much time to play
Yep.
this game mode, but it would be cool if they just had a little section somewhere of all these fun game modes that you could just go and play.
Yeah.
So it's really epic. Listen to the community and make this a permanent mode.
Right. I think it's a lot harder for like other types of games, like you mentioned R6. I'm gonna bring up League of Legends because
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Yeah.
League of Legends has a whole bunch of different rotating game modes, and I thought about it at one point. I had like this same thought process in my head where I was like, why are they rotating? Like, why are they only there for a time and then they're gone? And it's because they're actually fighting for the same target audience. League of Legends players come in, and instead of playing the normal version of the game, now they're playing the rotating game mode. It's the same target
Yeah.
audience, but with
Mhm.
Fortnite, it's not. It's not the same audience at all
No.
because they're trying to target the higher age group of people. So by creating a new game mode and making it stay, they're not losing anything. They're not like taking from the other game mode at all because it's more directed at their more mature audience. So I think it's really, really smart for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea. I would like to see, I think, just some changes with how building's done in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Again, I think the fact you can throw up a wall instantly, not a good idea. I think
Yeah.
It was a staple when they made the game. Like it made the
yeah.
game exciting. Like a whole bunch of kids were like, "This is crazy! Like we've never seen this before."
Mhm.
So it was like really
Yeah.
smart of them when it started, and then it kind of just like as people got good at it and they started like going around in
Exactly.
circles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as
Uh,
metas developed and they realized that
Right.
they can make these techniques,
Yeah.
then because I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I remember playing Fortnite when it first came out, and nobody knew what to do with building.
No, it wasn't
No.
the same game
It,
at all.
it was you put up some walls in front of you, and that's like your cover. Now,
Yeah.
like you
Right.
said, yeah, like I'm gonna build a skyscraper.
In
Yeah.
like 0.25 seconds. Like,
Literally.
You just
Like,
like
I
throw your
think-
mouse around in a circle while you're
I
building.
think if Fortnite changed the fact that it's like, okay, that time it's taking to build is actually the health of the building. You can't just throw up a steel wall and then have it fully protect you.
Right.
No, if someone shoots your steel wall while you're being attacked, then it sucks.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
fact
there was
that
a couple
it's,
different avenues they could have gone. Yeah, for sure.
right.
Mhm.
So I think I'm going to gravitate to no building, but it's like I like building because I like building ramps. Ramps are
Mhm.
like I like the ramps because you can do cool things with cars and ramps.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I think there's value in both. So I think.
Yeah.
And we've
Mhm.
said it like a whole bunch. Like it's just like a really, really good decision by them.
Yeah.
If you like the building style,
Mhm.
go for it. If you
S-
want to have more of just like the traditional
Ooh, that's
like
hot.
shooter game style, they have
Yeah.
that too, right?
Mhm.
No harm, no
Mhm.
foul.
Yeah,
Cool,
and I
cool.
think it presents this interesting question now of, do Fortnite tournaments have a building tournament and a non-building tournament now?
Right. True.
Yeah,
'Cause
I don't
it's-
know.
I think they will
It's-
for sure.
I think so too, because it's now official. It's not in a sub menu somewhere. It is a
No.
straight up option on the main menu when you go to pick. It is
Mhm.
there and present.
Right.
And
It will be interesting.
mhm.
I want to say building will still be a thing. I don't know though.
Oh, just getting
Oh.
some info from our director here. So they are currently running both, and apparently last night there was a no build squads last night tournament.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured they'd go that route.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
That opens up a whole bunch more. Now there can be more tournaments or whatever. Like I think that's dope.
Yeah, in-client tournaments. Okay. Yeah,
Interesting.
so I think this just extends and gives more life
Yeah.
to the game.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a good it's a good shakeup that and not that Fortnite was ever in a down spiral at all. I don't think
No.
it's ever been in a down spiral, but I think this just only increases their audience reach even more and the potential of what they can do with the game as it progresses.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
agree.
I think it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. I think it's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
It'll
So
be interesting to see what they do with it.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Speaking of other interesting turn of events, got a little interesting event that went on with a Joy-Con situation here for Nintendo. So as we've talked about on the show before, the Joy-Con drift situation has been a real big issue for Nintendo since the beginning of the Switch, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Nintendo really hasn't done anything to really address it. They've offered a few kind of like fixes here and there and have claimed to have done a few things to the Joy-Cons, but there's still a lot of people that aren't very pleased with Nintendo.
No.
And so there have been, and they're still going on, some lawsuits against Nintendo. And one of them had a very interesting development here. So in the case of Sanchez et al. Versus Nintendo of America, there was a few interesting points that Nintendo shot back at these people. So Nintendo of America has argued that the two mothers that are suing in the case can't sue because they are technically suing on behalf of the children and not themselves. Also,
Okay.
yeah. And also, the children weren't the ones that purchased the Switch. And the last point that they made was the EULA, the end user license agreement, has to be accepted by someone over the age of 18. And
Oh.
so, yeah. And
Huh.
so, the lawyers for Sanchez then argued that kids can't be bound by the EULA since they're minors.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're still looking for the case to be pursued on behalf of the children, and a federal judge in California is going to be looking into the matter soon.
Okay, but Nintendo got hands. Kind of good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I get the Joy-Con situation was bad.
Mm.
Obviously, as like a big Switch user, I hate it, and I wish the Joy-Cons were better. Supposedly the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons are better and do have a fix in them.
Okay.
If this is true or not, I don't remember. It's been about 6 months since they've come out. No, it's been close to a year now since they've come out.
Okay.
Maybe not. When did Skyward Sword come out? I don't remember anymore with Nintendo.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But there's a rumor that there was like an extra piece in the Joy-Cons that people theorized would help with drift.
Okay.
And I get that drift sucks, but also Nintendo offers free replacements. And they're actually pretty good about it. I replaced my Joy-Cons a year ago.
Wait, they offer free replacements for Joy-Cons?
Yeah, you can go online and you can send your Joy-Cons in and be like, they have Joy-Con drift. And you can go online, there's like some form to fill out.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my Joy-Cons
is it a
replaced.
long process? Is it like a hard process or?
No, I think it took me 2 weeks to get them back. To get new ones back. I
So,
think
like,
they
that's
sent
the
me new
worst
ones.
part of it is just like waiting that time, right?
Yeah, and it's like if you have custom Joy-Cons, then like obviously you aren't going to get customs back.
Yeah.
But like I had great Joy-Cons and I sent them in and they sent me a new pair of Joy-Cons.
I didn't know that. So there's no like time limit or anything. If
I don't
you just
think
say
so.
I have Joy-Con drift, they'll just accept it. There's no like, it's not like a warranty period or anything.
I don't think so. Again, I bought my Switch at the start of its life cycle. I sent my Joy-Cons in last year.
Oh, okay, then yeah. So there's definitely no
Yeah.
time frame.
That's
then.
really
Yeah.
good on the company.
Obviously,
Mhm.
these
I mean,
are
it's a
like,
mistake.
again, I don't know if it works with additional Joy-Cons you've bought. But like, again, these were my Switch Joy-Cons. They were drifting. I'm like, I need to get new Joy-Cons.
But how
Mhm.
are they gonna know if it's like the ones that you bought with the machine or just like extra ones that you bought? Like,
I think it uses the serial code.
okay,
Oh, okay.
So it used the serial code for my Switch.
okay, so
I
you
see.
can't just like replace any of the ones you want, but like the one that came with the system, you can always.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't remember exactly how it works. But yeah,
Bottom
like
line, I
Nintendo-
think that's really good.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, I think that's really good on them.
Mhm.
I understand that people. I understand people are annoyed over the fact that okay, yeah, you're okay, sure, you can replace them for free, but why don't you just fix the problem to
Right.
start with?
Yes.
Which I completely get that and understand. But I actually didn't know that. That's actually really cool. I think that's really good on them to offer that.
Yeah. So it's like free shipping. Yeah. It's good. I used the form. It worked out pretty well. You can send up to 4 Joy-Cons per pair.
Okay. Like
yeah.
like sorry, 4 pairs or just 4 like individual?
4 Joy-Cons. I think
Okay.
it's due to the batteries in the Joy-Cons.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Man, Joy-Cons aren't cheap.
They
They're the
aren't.
most expensive controller on the market right now. Well,
Yeah.
okay. I should say like standard controller. Obviously like the Xbox like Pro controller is quite a lot
Yeah,
of
those
money.
things are wild.
Yeah, those things are wild and a lot of money. They're really cool though. But
Oh,
yeah,
for
just
sure. I love them.
for standard controllers, Joy-Cons in Canada are $100 for a pair.
Yeah, Joy-Cons are expensive. It's why
It's
I
a
don't have a
lot.
second pair yet.
No. I actually honestly I just bought a Bluetooth adapter so I can hook up a PS4 controller to it.
Nice. Oh, is that
Yeah.
right? That's pretty.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
It's
funny.
actually really, really good. My friend had bought one because when I was it's funny when we play Smash Bros. That's how he plays. He uses a PS4 controller to play Smash Bros.
Oh,
with
interesting.
us.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, he uses that, and then I liked the adapter so much that I bought my own just to have, just in case I need to hook up a second controller, or even a third controller. If we
Wait,
split the
okay.
Joy-Cons.
How much was that adapter?
I think it was like 25, $35.
I might get one.
Yeah. No, it's a nice investment. It's just kind of nice to have
feel-
just in case
Yeah.
you need another controller. Yeah.
I feel like I want to play like Smash Bros on like a different controller. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
like the Joy-Cons. I don't like the Joy-Con controllers. I'd never have.
The
Yeah.
Pro controller, the Pro controller is expensive, but the Pro controller is super nice.
Yeah.
I love my
Yeah.
Pro.
With the Bluetooth, like with the adapter, could it be like an Xbox controller, or does it have to be PS4?
Mm-hmm.
It can be Xbox too.
Yep. It'd be Xbox too. Yep.
That's interesting. I didn't know that was.
I might
Yeah.
invest.
I mean, you can use it on anything. You can even use it on a PC if you wanted to. It's it's just a nice multi-purpose
Ah,
adapter.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm gonna have to invest.
Yeah. I'll send you the link later if I can
Yeah.
find it. It's like just like a little brown, like USB
Nice.
dongle. Yeah. Yeah.
Useful.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, just an interesting situation with all of this. How
Yeah, I get
Like,
it that it sucks, but like,
it's like just the children argument is really weird in my
Yeah.
opinion.
It's,
It's
a little
really weird.
strange.
I guess it just depends on what they've stated that they're suing for.
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I feel like we have like limited information.
The article went into it a little bit, but as much as we've talked about here. But yeah, I definitely think we're missing some information. They did kind of say, based on the information provided by the family lawyers, that's what
Right.
it said in the article. So obviously I
Yeah.
can't go into full detail because it's an ongoing case and it's a legal case.
yeah. It's
Mhm.
it's interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think anything big's gonna happen from it.
No, I really don't either.
Yeah, like
What?
long story short,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's specifically strange about the point that Nintendo made about suing on behalf of the kids?
I don't know. It's just kind of like, does it? I guess it depends on. Like, I don't know why they just wouldn't have said like why can't you just change the argument to be like, okay, we're unhappy with the product we bought for our children,
Right. That's
instead of saying
that's true.
instead of we're suing for the children.
Right. Yeah. But
Mhm.
it's I think if you think about it like in a different way, maybe like say
Mhm.
you had like bought something for your friend,
Mm.
whatever, and like they complain about it, and then you like go and you like sue the company, and you're like, my friend's complaining about it, like.
I
Come
guess
on,
yeah.
man.
When you put it that way,
It's not a little
yeah.
weird.
yeah,
It feels a little. Obviously, it's a parent, and you're the parent. You're buying it for your kid. It's a little different. It's a little different, but it's not like, in my opinion, it's not much different because like kids can complain about some like stupid stuff. Like it's a
Yeah.
video game system. The kid complains to their parent, and then the parent is like, "Well, we bought this, and like it was really expensive, and my kid is unhappy, so we're gonna sue." Obviously, we don't have all the details, so we don't know what exactly they're suing for. All the details, blah 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 blah. But like to me, it feels like a pretty interesting point to bring up, and I think it's important that they did. Is like you're suing on behalf of someone else. It's a little strange.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a full-on Karen situation.
That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like, the way that that's worded is like, yeah, I could see it a little bit.
Mhm.
I could see how this could be a Karen.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird. It's weird.
It's weird. It's
It's
weird.
a strange,
Well,
yeah, it's a strange. The whole thing is kind of strange to me, especially now that I know that they have those free replacements. It's like,
Yeah.
is it really worth? Like, yes, be upset, but is it really worth like suing over? Just
Yeah.
get them replaced for free, no?
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
isn't it less work to go through like that 2 weeks that your kid can't play on the controllers, whatever? Like,
Yeah.
You get a new pair of Joy-Cons, whatever. You move on with your life. Like, is it really worth all of this work and no doubt money?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Be upset. Be upset. That's totally fine. Being
People
upset
wanna-
and suing
yeah.
over it.
People just
different.
want a reason to be upset.
Yeah,
It's a
honestly.
good reason. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
like I
should
get
have
it. The
fixed by
Joy-Cons aren't.
now, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even like a Nintendo like fan. I don't even play on like the Switch that much, and I know, like, looking at it on paper, it's like this probably could have been solved a long time ago. It's a little ridiculous, especially for how big Nintendo is right now. Like, the Nintendo Switch is like the game system right now,
Yeah.
right? It's a little, I don't know. It's a little sad
It's-
that they haven't fixed it yet. So yes, be
Mhm.
upset, but like also they're offering you like free replacements, so don't be that upset.
Yeah, and like I think the Joy-Cons were a really good evolvement of the controller system, right?
Mhm.
So it's like being able to split two controllers. Oh, that's super cool.
It's cool. Yeah,
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So if drift is just something that like they're not sure, maybe they just don't know how to fix it. Like
Yeah.
maybe that is just the reason is there's just not a way to fix it.
Or maybe there's not a way to fix it without making the controller like bigger, which is kind of like
Yeah.
what they don't want to. Like, that was the entire purpose of having it split
Mhm.
into two, anyways.
Mhm.
Right?
There's a whole variety of reasons of like maybe
Right.
this is why. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Who's
And,
to say?
who's to say? Time will tell all, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and speaking of time will tell, that's gonna take us to our big topic today. What's going to be the future of E3? So, if people aren't aware, E3 2022 has been canceled. So, this was the initial big tweet going around here from Will Powers. Just got an email. It's official. E3 Digital is officially canceled for 2022. Lots of mixed feelings about this. So, yeah, that was the initial kind of tweet saying, "Oh yeah, it's done for." And then Stephen Totillo, who's a games journalist, actually put the email out on his Twitter that was sent to people. So let's see here. So this is what the email ends up reading here. So E3 will return in 2023 with a reinvigorated showcase that celebrates new and exciting video games and industry innovations. We previously announced that E3 would not be held in person in 2022 due to the ongoing health risks surrounding COVID-19. Today, we announced that there will also be no digital E3 showcase in 2022. Instead, we will devote all our energy and resources to delivering a revitalized physical and digital E3 experience next summer. Whether enjoyed from the show floor or your favorite devices, the 2023 showcase will bring the community, media, and industry back together in an all-new format and interactive experience. We look forward to presenting E3 to fans around the world live from Los Angeles in 2023. Look for more news and announcements soon. So, yeah, E3 is
Ugh.
officially canceled. So, this is actually the second time in its 26 years that it's been around that it's been canceled. The first time it was canceled was in 2020 because pandemic obviously was at an all-time high. Then they switched over to a digital format, and this year it's canceled again.
Yeah. Will E3 be back in 2023? I don't know.
I don't know.
E3's in a tough spot.
E3 is in a tough spot, and I don't know if you guys have like ever looked too much into E3 at all. I mean, I've always wanted to go to an E3.
Yeah. Oh, it'd always
but,
be cool to go
but
to.
from what
The
I've
dream.
heard, it is much more of a business conference than a cool game conference show to go check out. It is there for journalists and investors more.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, sure, there's still the big game shows, and sure, there's still booths, but it's not that like game, like Comic-Con experience that I think everybody thinks it is.
Those events are your PAX South, those are your PAX events, and your Too Many Games Con.
Yes.
Those are going to be your gaming conventions. E3 is very much a journalist paradise, and it's why we get all of the big shows that happen at E3. But has the nail in the coffin been in E3 for a bit?
Honestly, I would say yes.
I think it started when Sony pulled out and Sony said, no, we're good.
Yeah, and that's a point I wanted to bring up, is basically every major publisher has their own show now. Sony has State of Play and
Yeah.
Nintendo has Nintendo Direct. I can't name you what the Xbox One is, if Xbox
Probably
even
just
has
the
one.
Xbox Live Showcase. I think
Yeah,
that's what it
ex
is.
exactly, and that's where a lot of these, publishers, and, like, video game companies are showing off their
Mhm.
stuff
Yeah.
now.
I
So
still think it's cool we get E3 and we get all those big news announcements because it's like,
oh, for sure.
cool, E3's coming. Let's get that news going.
Mhm.
But the fact that Sony just went, no, we're not going to show up this year is like, oh, okay, Sony, you're not
Mhm.
coming? Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, well, you can either take that as they don't have anything big to show, which I doubt. I'm gonna press
Yeah.
X to doubt on
Yeah,
that
it's
one.
been the
I know
past
that
4 years.
they got something cooking up for
Yeah.
sure. So, and yeah, I think just they have their state of plays now, and that's how they want to rock, showing off a lot of their
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, why go through E3 when they can just promote the hell out of what is it, State of Play for?
Yeah,
for
State of Play.
Sony?
State
Yeah,
of Play.
State of
Yeah.
Play. Like, why? It feels
Yeah.
like it's actually counterproductive for them to put
Mhm.
some of their resources and some of their big showings in the E3 instead of just promoting State of Play.
And I think it's a money saving thing too.
I think
Think
so
about how
too.
much
Absolutely.
money it is to put on an E3 show where when you're doing State of Play, it doesn't have to be a grandiose show for State of Play. It's just, okay, here are the games. We're gonna fire off like 15 trailers for you
Right.
Yeah.
right now, depending on the
Yeah.
showcase. If it's a smaller showcase, they might do more. If it's a bigger showcase, they might only have a few, but the games
Mhm.
might be bigger in scale. But really, that's all you need for a video game announcement, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I
I
think
don't
it's
need
really
the extra
cool.
fanfare. I mean, it's cool, but
Yeah.
at
You're
the end
you're
of the
not
day,
you're gonna tell me you don't want Reggie? You don't want to have Reggie's body ready? His body is ready.
like, I
Like
don't know.
I think Nintendo was the pinnacle of E3. We talk about a
Mhm.
company that ruled E3, and it was Nintendo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They would do their showcase on their first day, get all the games out, and then ran a live broadcast for the next 3 days doing demos of every game.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And they had the Breath of the Wild set piece was massive.
Yeah.
A massive set piece for Breath of the Wild.
Mhm.
So it's like, it's weird. It's gonna be weird. And will Nintendo still do Treehouse Live and still do these big events?
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
I think. Sorry, go
yeah.
on.
No, I think just I'm gonna miss those, like that big show of like, let's go a little over the top. And Nintendo hasn't done it the past 2 years because
Mhm.
COVID. But like, man, some of the Nintendo things were great. When they became the Star Fox characters was hilarious.
Yeah.
The Smash Direct, when they announced Smash for 3DS and Wii U, when they did like the little fight thing, great,
Mhm.
perfect, loved it. It was like, I think Nintendo was the company that made E3
Mhm.
and I think you look at like, okay, the Xbox presentation. Like, let's look at E3 2021. I think a lot of us reacted to that live in a call.
Mhm.
2021 was rough for a lot of companies. We're just like, was this good?
I think a lot of people just didn't know how to adapt to
Yeah.
this new digital format, and how do we
Yeah.
still make it exciting as a digital only experience.
Yeah,
I think
so a lot
everybody
of
struggled
games
with that.
just fell flat, and it was like,
Mhm.
cool. And then Nintendo was just like, okay, we'll just do a direct. Here's blah. Take all this.
Yeah, and I think the main point and the question we have to get down to is E3 still necessary?
Right. I
I don't
honestly
know.
don't.
I want it
I
to be
don't think it
necessary.
is.
I don't think it
right.
is.
I was about to say. I think the easiest analogy that I can think of is take Disney before Disney Plus. I guess. Why would they pay Netflix to like show the stuff they make when they can just make Disney Plus and show it there and then promote
Mhm.
that, right?
Yeah.
It's more cost effective. It's better
Yeah.
for their business. It's like now they have an extra revenue stream from that. Like it's
Mhm.
kind of like the easiest analogy you can make for that, and it just makes sense business wise.
Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. It's these companies have enough to stand on their own at this point that they
Mhm.
don't need a third party to host
Right.
them.
That's it.
Yeah. So I think the one thing we do miss from E3 though and it'll be interesting to see how this changes, is those like early hands-on demos,
Yeah, that's true. That's
right?
true.
I think that's what it was like. Okay, we're gonna bring out all these YouTubers and give them a chance to play the game.
Hmm.
Let's get that early feedback and see what people like and don't like.
Mm.
And that, like, I think that's something that will be missed from E3, and that might be why E3 comes back as a demo showcase.
I mean, hell, now what they've done is I want to say this was what happened to Russian Badger, I think, when the Doom Eternal came out. Like Bethesda or id Software hit him up and were like, "Yo, we will send somebody to your house with a laptop that you can play Doom on for an hour." So I think a lot of companies are willing to just send PR people out with laptops of the games to people's houses to play you.
It'll be interesting to see what changes. It's definitely an open landscape, though, I think, with the loss of E3.
Yes, and well, I think Jeff Keighley's coming in to help fix that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Jeff Keighley put out a tweet here for Summer Games Fest. Excited to share that at Summer Game Fest will return this June with a slate of events. We'll be producing another kickoff live show with announcements, news, and first looks. Much more to share in the coming weeks, along with some very cool new elements for 2022. So yeah, that's coming June 2022 of this year. And yeah, that's kind of gonna be, I guess, the big E3 replacer for this year.
Yeah.
Come
I
on,
think so.
Dave.
And yeah, like just kind of touching on some of the announcements that were made last year at it. There's some pretty big stuff in here. We had the Elden Ring trailer drop with the release date. Back for Blood open beta was announced. Overwatch 2's like character redesigns were shown off there. Borderlands Tiny Tina talking about her getting her own game finally. Talking about when Rainbow Six Extraction came out, talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy video game. Sea of Thieves getting a crossover with Pirates of the Caribbean. There is
oh my god, I forgot that was the thing.
Yeah, I actually played some of it the other day. It was really, really good. Yeah, so a lot of big stuff, and just there at the end briefly too. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 trailer was there too.
God, that was...
Assassin's Creed Valhalla was on that list too.
Yeah. So as you can see, like there was some really big stuff announced there. So I think that's going to be an exciting show to look forward to, and there's going to be some big stuff there. And so I think that's a nice, good E3 replacement for this year.
I think there's going to be more hype around it too with EC dropping out.
Yeah. And I mean, Jeff Keighley's just a great guy. Like, come on now. He's a very entertaining host.
Oh, for sure. Oh.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Maybe you need some Red Bull. You switch out your tea for Red Bull right now.
Yeah. Well, let me just hold on, where is it?
I love the fact that Ethan is like still sipping his Red Bull like it's tea. He's like,
oh yes, sir.
So long.
He's up.
Don't get it twisted. It's still Red Bull.
It's still tea, I promise. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think E3 going away sucks, but I think it was bound to happen. And the fact that they plan to do a digital show was like, okay, you're not ready. You weren't ready to go back to in person this year.
Yeah.
That says a lot. That like you didn't plan to go back to in person. You should have. Everyone else is planning to do it. Why didn't you?
I think it was very last minute decisions that were like made last minute, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see, right?
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said near the beginning of the episode, that's it for this week with news. There was not really too much spicy stuff going on. So to compensate that, we're gonna have two fun topics for today. Yeah, no way, right? So the first one I wanted to talk about here is the price of new video games and just the price of games in general.
Is this a fun topic?
This doesn't sound fun.
I
Ethan.
should okay. General topic.
General topic. This is a general
Yeah,
topic.
general topic. Video games are expensive. They're getting expensive.
They
Really
are
expensive. So, of course, we always talk in Canadian prices here. So a new game is typically $79.99, and then after tax, that's $90.39.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see some new games, more specifically like Sony first party titles and such, going for $89.99. So after tax, that's $101.69, $100 for a brand new
So
game.
much.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, and here's my issue. I'd be fine if DLC wasn't such. If DLC and microtransactions weren't so like in your face. I think we've talked before about microtransactions, and just
You think?
I don't. Have we talked about microtransactions?
Oh,
I'm
oh,
sure
talked
we
about it a
have.
lot.
I mean,
Talked about it a lot.
hell,
I don't remember most things we talked
we
about.
talked about how Gran Turismo is a full price game and has microtransactions in it.
That is
Yeah.
ridiculous, and it should be illegal.
Exactly.
It is, and it's like, so why am I buying this game if you're gonna make me? Why are you
Right.
putting the game priced at $100
Mhm.
if you're then gonna make me buy extra stuff?
I'm pretty sure the new FIFA game is $89.99, and
That's
FIFA
insane. Why?
has like microtransactions in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's got hot
it's EA, so I mean,
or whatever it's called. I don't remember. Not hot.
Ultimate Team, I think FIFA
Fut.
Ultimate Team.
Fut.
Yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, so it's like Nintendo games. Okay, I know when I'm coughing up to get this game, and I'm not gonna have to. I might have to buy DLC. I bought DLC for Smash because it's Smash, and of course,
You
Yeah.
need it.
Sakura, take my money. Or Sakura, take my money, please. But I know when I get into the game, I'm not gonna jump into Animal Crossing and then go, oh, I have to pay $10 for bells in Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah.
Like I know that's
Yeah.
not a thing I'm gonna have to deal with, and I'm gonna be able to play the game to its fullest without microtransactions.
Yeah.
Um,
And sorry, go on.
I just bought Lego Star Wars the other day, and I bought it right away because I'm like, I know there's not going to be microtransactions in this game.
Yeah.
I'm going
Right.
to get all the content, and I'm going to be able to play it fully without spending microtransaction money.
Yeah. And just games don't come down in price like they
No.
used to. Speaking of Nintendo games never go on sale.
No,
Like,
Nintendo
I've-
games
like,
never go on sale.
Never go on sale. Like I had to buy Mario Kart 8 at full price because
Yeah.
it never goes. If it does go on sale, it's maybe $15 off.
I think they were 30% off during the Mario anniversary.
Yeah, and even that's not that much.
It's not that
They
much.
should have been
no.
like 50 at
Yeah.
least. I think for how old they are.
Yeah, so it's
but-
like Nintendo doesn't go down in price, but you're not paying for microtransaction. Is that the payoff?
Yeah, I
Right?
guess. I mean, the thing with the Nintendo products always is out of every gaming sphere, Nintendo products only go up in value as
Yeah.
years go on. You look at the NES, SNES, N64, GameCube. Those games are going up rapidly in price.
Oh, yeah.
all the time. Like, yes, copy of Melee is going to run you $90 now.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep. Honestly, that's one of the reasons why I bought when Nintendo Online re-released the SNES controllers, the wireless ones.
Yeah.
I bought two, one to actually open and use, and then the other one just to have as like a collector's piece because I know it's only going to go up in value.
Yeah,
the
I
years
should
go
buy.
on.
I should buy some at some point.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
the
expensive.
N64 ones were cool too, but I was like, I'm never gonna buy the expansion pass, truthfully.
Right.
So the SNES controller was the only one I was really interested in, and I almost asked some of my relatives over in Europe to buy me one because the one in Europe is like the Japanese one with the colored
The
buttons.
Famicom ones.
The
Yeah.
Famicom ones, which are so cool. I think they're awesome. But yeah, we just got the purple
got
has
the-
its like charm to
Yeah,
it as well.
Got its charm.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, and like, it's a discussion of. I don't know. I get prices are going up, and I get like the cost of stuff is going up.
Yeah, games are getting more expensive to make.
So you may 100% because it's like we expect more.
Yes, exactly.
But the issue is like, if it's not a Nintendo game, I'm not gonna buy it at launch. I think is what I've come into now.
Okay.
Because so many games have bugs at launch.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
many bugs at launch. At
True.
least when I know I'm buying a Nintendo game, Nintendo's pretty good with bugs.
Yeah, that's true. I can't
Right,
really
like-
tell you Nintendo games that come out and have major bugs
Yeah.
on launch.
So, and it's like we've seen recently that Nintendo will push back a game if it's not ready to launch. Breath of the
Right.
Wild just got pushed back because it wasn't ready.
Yeah, normalize that.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's like I don't buy games on Steam at full price.
Oh no, never.
Yeah.
Unless it just came out and I really want to play it on PC. But yeah, no, I'm usually waiting for most of the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I haven't bought like a full price new game in over 5 years.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like
I mean
straight
the
up, I
last
just don't do it anymore.
the last full price game I bought was Lego Star Wars. Because it's Lego Star Wars and I love Lego games.
Fair enough. Lego Star Wars is pretty good. I think the last one I bought was like Skyrim. When did that come out? 2009, 2012,
2011.
Yeah, a long time.
2011. Okay, yeah. So I bought Skyrim like way back then. And,
Yeah.
like, that's like the only one that comes to mind.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. When Skyrim came out, like, I actually rolled all of the coins I had saved ever since I was a child by
Mhm.
that game. I
Right.
rolled all the coins, exchanged them at the bank just to have enough
Yep.
money to go and buy it.
Yep.
And it was 100.
My
Mhm.
aunt for like she collected pennies for me like all of like I guess my life, and she gave me the jar this year. I rolled like $300 of pennies.
Oh my
Wait, can you
gosh.
get that though? Like, will they still take your pennies if
Oh,
you
yeah.
bring them
Assume
into
they
a
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's still
alright.
currency. So yeah, I have like $300 of pennies.
Right.
That's not bad. That's
There's
not
a
bad.
lot of pennies.
Yeah. And another point I just wanted to bring up is I don't know if you guys remember this, but this is like one of my favorite things as a kid, right? So when I was a kid, a lot of the times for my birthday, I would get a $25 EB Games gift card. And then I would go to EB Games, and do you guys remember the 3 for $20 deal that EB Games used to have?
Oh,
Think
I
so?
don't know.
I don't
Like
So-
in like the bins up at the front.
No. Along the wall, any game, as long as the game was under $20, you
Oh.
get 3 of them for 20.
Oh,
Whoa.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
I feel like I
awesome.
remember it, but I never used it because I was a Nintendo child.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know if it was for like all of them, but yeah, for like the PS2 games, they had 3
Yeah.
for 20 all the time, and it was the greatest thing because yeah, you would get
It was like it was the reused games.
Yes, yeah, it was the
Yeah.
used games. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'd go and I get 3 for 20. It was the best
Nice.
thing ever.
Gotta
And
miss those cheap games, man. Ooh.
I went into EB Games a couple weeks ago, and the bargain bin is 30 and below now. And if there's sometimes still a 20 and below bin, but God, is it the shitter games in there?
I think
Like,
I got Persona 5 for 20 and below.
Yeah, sometimes there's something good
Yeah,
in there, but most of the time it's like you'll see like the Killzone game for PS4 is always
Let's go.
always in those always
Yeah.
in those bins. Like
Mhm.
you'll see like the sports games in there because those become irrelevant as soon as
Yeah.
the new one comes out. The 30 and below bin is pretty good. Actually, a couple, not the last time I went for the 20 and below bin, but a couple times before, I did get God of War 3 remastered out
Not
of it.
bad.
Oh, that's not bad.
Nice.
I did get Uncharted 4 out of it as well because I still hadn't got that for my collection yet. So
Oh, okay,
again,
okay.
I guess it depends on what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, it depends what you want to
Mhm.
find.
Yeah, I got here. So this is what I got out of the 30 and below bin. This game Indivisible. It's an
Okay.
RPG
Oh,
that
I
I
remember hearing about that.
yeah, it's an RPG that I've always wanted to play. My brother got in. I saw him playing it, and it looked really cool. And
Nice.
so I was never sure if I was going to get like a physical copy of it because it kind of seems like one of those games that's going to get very harder to find
Yeah.
as the years go on. So I saw it there, and it was I think it was $25. So I picked it up.
Not bad.
Not bad.
We take those.
Yeah, we take those. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It just kind of sucks to see that bargain bins aren't really as poppin' as they
Right.
used to. I have a lot of good memories with bargain bins. I got all my Fallout, like Fallout 3 in New Vegas, from a
Ooh,
bargain bin.
Yeah.
nice, nice,
Yeah,
nice, nice.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens with game prices.
Yeah, are we gonna like in the next console generation? Are we gonna see games retail for $9.99?
God, I hope not.
I really hope not
I
too.
hope not. I hope it doesn't get to that.
Yeah. So again, time will tell. I really hope it doesn't get to that point. I hope it doesn't get to that point at least for another couple console generations. I think eventually it's gonna get to that price.
Eventually we'll get there, but like hopefully it's like
Hopefully
everything
that's
else is at that like
mm,
that point of like that's just a decent price.
yeah, money
Mhm.
invested and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 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 All right. Well, yeah, so that's the first topic and oh boy. I am so excited about our main fun topic today.
The main topic.
We are talking about our favorite video game soundtracks / composers.
Yes,
So
sir.
I just kind of
More
want to
soundtracks.
I just kind of want to open this before we start talking each individually about our favorites. Video game music is unique
Yeah.
compared to film music. In film music, of course, there's more that goes into it, but the sad music goes with the sad scenes, and the epic music goes with the action scenes, right? And same
Mhm.
can be said in a video game, but the thing that makes a video game unique is randomness. Don't know what each player is going to be doing as they play through your game. And so you got to figure how do you balance this? A really good example is Dead Space. So the way Dead
Mhm.
Space does is music is Dead Space they composed the music in layers. So for example, you could be walking in a space station and nothing's going on at the time. There's just like a little orchestral theme going on, right?
Yeah.
And an enemy pops out. Then it adds another string section onto it. Then another
Okay.
enemy comes out and it adds more, and it just keeps increasing depending on how much more of a shit state that you're in,
Right.
right? And then a lot of the time as well, you could have different variations of the same track depending on if a level has multiple variations. Say you transition from a top like level into like an underwater level. There's
Yeah.
that sort of transition. Or a lot of the times with a lot of older games, it was looping music, of course. So video game music is very unique in the way that it has to be made and produced.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. What are you guys' just general thoughts before we start talking about our favorites and such?
I think there is definitely like that right tone you have to hit with music.
Yes. Yes.
And I think like having a good soundtrack is what's gonna bring you into the world.
Of course. Of course.
Mhm. It all feels like very, I don't know if this is atmospheric.
Yeah.
Yes.
we're gonna say that's a word. Like the music makes the atmosphere of the game. 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to have good sound design to be like, okay, if this hit feels like nice and crisp, like I'm feeling the impact here.
Right.
Yes.
Or I'm feeling the vibes, you know?
Yeah.
It's very, very important.
Yeah. The vibes are needed.
Yeah. All right, cool. So who wants to lead off? Who wants to talk about their favorite music in gaming?
I guess I'll start as I normally do. I've got three very different, I think, soundtracks. So first, favorite game, Okami.
Oh yes, Okami.
Oh, such an important soundtrack of like recognizing that this game is Japanese themed and then pulling in those Japanese instrumentals.
Okay.
It's such an important part of like, okay, here's the art style to reflect it, and now here's the music to also reflect that. A very like flute heavy. It's got those like, you feel like you're in Japan.
Okay.
It's got
There's
that
the atmosphere that we're talking about.
Yeah, it has that atmosphere of like,
Right.
it's got that more like nature sounds because it's not a tech heavy. There's no tech. It's all right. It's got those like nature sounds to it. It's got that right feel of like, this makes me feel like I am in like I am in this world.
Like a very
awesome.
like a very feudal Japan
Yeah,
inspired sound.
yeah,
That's awesome.
100%. And I don't think it would be the same game without the soundtrack. The soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah.
Some really just good songs.
Mhm.
I'm like looking through like the song that it's hard to pick a favorite because they're so good. I mean, the starting song of the game is so good. It just hits hard and brings you into the world so well. It's got that taiko drum like roll up to it, which is so fun. So yeah, I think Okami HD just it's that perfect, like it knows what type of game it is. Here's the soundtrack to match it. And it's got some legendary composers on it. So the first one is Ray Kondo, who's worked on Bayonetta, Fire Emblem Awakening, Star Fox. So he worked on Mario Party 10. He was on Ultimate as a original game supervisor. So it's like he's got this big title of like, okay, here's this big composer who's this is one of his first games, and then went on to all these other bigger games. Right? He continued working with Nintendo, and like Ultimate on its own has a great soundtrack. You can't diss the Ultimate soundtrack. The next guy is Masumi Ude. Probably pronounced that wrong. But again, Bayonetta, all the 3 Bayonetta games, or Bayonetta 1 and 2. Okami, he worked on the first 3 Resident Evil games.
Oh, okay.
And then also worked on Ultimate. So again, like this really like good list of games that like, okay, these people know what they're doing. And then the last one was Akari Kaida, who worked on a lot of Capcom games. So like almost all of the Mega Man games.
Okay.
She had some part in Resident Evil, like the original Resident Evil games. Super Puzzle Fighter Turbo 2, which I know is a popular Capcom game. So yeah, Okami just had this really, and then also on Ultimate or Smash Bros for Wii U. It's like a really good group of composers that just made a soundtrack that made you feel like you're in Japan.
Yeah.
Which I think is important.
Okay.
Okay. Soundtrack 2. What do I got? I think this one is Splatoon 2. What a fun soundtrack. I think Splatoon 2 is the definition of a fun soundtrack. It's just got those fun like techno beats to it. A bit of like, this is clearly a more fun world, a more poppy world. You got Callie and Marie as like these that did a live show, which is a like if you've never seen the Splatoon 2 live show, it's so funny.
Okay.
I'll send it to you boys now. But they made a full live show based off this soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
And like the main obviously the main like people in Splatoon are like the musicians. Like obviously not your character, but it's like they played off that and they made like a full live concert, which is hilarious to watch.
Okay.
It's just got this fun music vibe to it of like this isn't a serious game, so here's this fun poppy soundtrack to it. And it works great in like live battles where it's like here's this energy of like, okay, the energy's going, I'm feeling this like this rhythm and this like more musical vibe, we got this.
Okay.
Which I think really helps. So yeah, Splatoon 2, it's just a fun soundtrack. It's fun, it's hyper, it's energetic. I like it.
You immerse in the craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're killing other squid kids with ink.
Right. It's a very
Gotta have the fun soundtrack to it.
Exactly.
How do you not? So yeah, I love the soundtrack. They also released a vinyl, which is hilarious.
That's
That
awesome.
is funny.
The Splatoon 2 vinyl is hilarious. I love it. And they sent it out to like a few European studio like radio stations. It only had like 4 tracks on it, but it's still like it's such a funny little piece of merch that went out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Splatoon 2, the great soundtrack. And my last one, no surprises, it's Xenoblade. Xenoblade is such a good soundtrack.
I think I hear Xenoblade mentioned probably every podcast.
Yeah, because I've loved Xenoblade right now.
Oh, boy.
Xenoblade 1 and 2 are both really good. I think I like Xenoblade 2's soundtrack a bit more. There's one of my favorite songs. It's actually a vocal song. Is Drifting Soul, which is such the perfect. It hits you really hard when you get to like a big sad plot moment in the game,
Okay.
and like it perfectly just lines up. And once you hear the song start, you're like, oh, oh, this is bad. This is a bad sad time now. Like after you
Okay.
hear it the first time, you're like, oh, it just really sets the mood whenever it comes in. It's like, all right, we're in a sad vibe now.
Okay.
So that song is just so good. Love that song. And then also it's got one of the best battle themes in love the same. You will recall our names, which is a playoff of the Xenoblade 1 battle theme, which is called You Will Know Our Names.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a funny comment that I saw. It's like Xenoblade 1, you will know our names. Xenoblade 2, you will recall our names. Xenoblade 53, thou shalt successfully jog memory of thine's verbal identities.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good.
But I think like even playing Smash, when you play on the Xenoblade theme and you like hear the song, it hits you with such energy of like, okay, it really just picks the energy up. I think it's just got such a Xenoblade just has such a powerful soundtrack, and again, a really powerful composer behind it. And is this the composer that I'm looking for? No, because that's the Splatoon composer. There's so many good composers. Yasuri Mitsuda, who guess what, composed Chrono Trigger, which is also an amazing soundtrack.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So he was the composer for Chrono Trigger and Xenogears, and then Chrono Cross, of course. So again, this really powerful composer behind it, who Chrono Trigger has been praised for its soundtrack before.
Oh yeah. It's amazing.
So again, Xenoblade carries that, and it finds all the right places to set the mood. And I love a good soundtrack. So I think
very important.
When talking about composers, it's hard to not talk about the grandfather of Nintendo composers in Koji Kondo. Koji Kondo is like the grandfather of Nintendo music. He did the original Super Mario Bros. He was the Legend of Zelda composer. Did Mario Bros. 2, 3, A Link to the Past, Super Mario 64, Star Fox 64. He's pretty much done every big Nintendo game, every big Mario and Zelda game.
Oh wow, that's insane.
So like he is the Nintendo composer.
Oh yeah. Look, I sing the original Super Mario Bros. Theme like every day. I like drum it on my desk like probably.
Yeah.
It's that iconic.
Yeah. So he is like the Nintendo composer. And it's kind of crazy to think like, yeah, his first game was Punch Out, which is insane that was his first game was Punch Out, and then has gone on to create all of these classics through the 64-bit era.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I think Nintendo just always does really good on their soundtracks, and Okami was Capcom, and then Splatoon 2, just the fun theme, and Xenoblade having that perfect mix of sad songs, but also we know how to write a good combat track. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Nice. My turn?
Yeah, go for it.
My turn.
All right.
So first game I'm going to mention doesn't really actually need much talking. I think everyone agrees. Halo 3 soundtrack. Halo in general, amazing soundtrack.
Great soundtrack.
Everybody knows the Halo theme song, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Halo 3 is actually the one that I started with, which is strange to say. I didn't play the first one, I didn't play the second. I started with the third, so there's a bit of nostalgia in there. I'm biased, I guess. But, like, it's a good bias. I think the soundtrack is, like, it's very, very spectacular. It's more on, like, the epic side of things. There are some, like, sad soundtracks, whatever. Like most, like, story games. But a lot of it is, like, very, very epic. All the ones that people know, One Final Effort, Greatest Journey, and then Gravemind, because the third one is where the whole flood kind of storyline starts, and all that, like, kind of craziness. So, like, there's, like, some really creepy soundtracks in there as well, which are, like, really, really cool. Like, you're, like, the soundtrack comes on, and, like, one of the flood levels like later in the game, and it's like it gets your heart pounding. Like I was just listening to it today actually before the podcast, and even listening to the soundtrack on its own, like not playing the level, I felt my heart like going a little bit. So it's like it's really genius in its writing. So the composers being Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore as kind of like his colleague. So Martin O'Donnell also did stuff for like Oni and Destiny. So some big games as well as like some of the other Halo games. Most of the stuff that he did was in 1, 2, 3, but in my opinion, that's where like the most epic of the Halo soundtrack is. Past that point, it feels a little bit like a little rinse and repeat. But 1, 2, 3 has some real genius in its soundtracks. For sure.
I really like the track Trapped in Amber from Halo 2 is really, really good. It's kind of it's from when you like just land on like the planet finally and you just open out into this big landscape. And, like there's all this that you get to see, and it's an awesome epic track. I highly recommend people go listen to that one.
A ton of epic tracks in all three of those games. I think they like mastered that like epic thing.
Yeah,
kind of like you're like all wide-eyed playing the game, and that's what soundtracks in video games like is about. It's about immersing yourself like in the world. So so that's number one, and then for the next one, it's actually Hollow Knight. I love Hollow Knight as a game. Hollow Knight's soundtrack is different from any other game that I played in the sense that like it's very, very atmospheric, very, very thematic. A lot of Hollow Knight is just like, it's honestly a lot of just like roaming around. They do have those soundtracks that are a little bit faster paced when you have like boss fights, but I don't know, if you play the game as slow as I do, you're like trying to like explore the world because there's so much beauty in like the art of that game. And the soundtrack really adds to it. So you're like exploring like these catacombs or whatever kind of like themed area you're in, and the music like goes perfectly in line with whatever themed area you're in. So if you're in like the more kind of like greenery thing, like the soundtrack will change and it will kind of like it'll mimic that sort of like style. It's super, super cool. Very, very chill. So I play it like sometimes at night when I'm just like chilling or whatever. I think it's some crazy genius in that as well, but in like a different way. Less of like the epic, super fast pace, and more of like the like really, really chill vibe. So that's probably like my all time favorite. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Okay.
10 out of 10. Go listen to it if you haven't. You don't even have to play the game. Just listen to the soundtrack.
We'll put links in the bio for all. Links
right.
For all of our soundtracks.
I thought about mentioning League of Legends. Hold on. League of Legends and Riot Games makes amazing music, but I don't count that as a soundtrack because it's not really like a story game. It's not like
still a soundtrack.
It's still, but I wouldn't put it under the same like umbrella. They make amazing music videos, really cool lore. And some of their like champion spotlights for music can be like really, really cool too. So shout out to them. But that's it for my my story game soundtracks.
All right, cool. All right, so I guess it's my turn now. So I'm gonna start off by saying who my all-time favorite composer is for video games, and it's Nobuo Uematsu, the man, the myth, the legend, has done did so many of the Final Fantasy games. So he was the original and only composer for Final Fantasy 1 to 9. He did all the music himself. And then afterwards, he worked with a few people for 10 and 11. And then afterwards, he's taken a step back from the series and only composes maybe 1 or 2 tracks for the games. And so, he's absolutely my favorite here. He did come back for the Final Fantasy VII remake, which was awesome. I'm so glad he came back and got to do
have
that.
him come back.
Yeah. And so some of the other things he's done is he did the main theme for Super Smash Bros. Brawl. That was him that composed that, and everybody knows the main theme for Super Smash Bros. Brawl is a banger. I would argue it's the best main theme for a Super Smash Bros. Game.
I think so, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, everybody still uses it for the meme of whoever has joined the battle. All right. Yeah. And we talked about Chrono Trigger earlier. He did do some tracks for Chrono Trigger as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Chrono Trigger's got
so
just a legendary pool.
yeah. And if we don't mind pulling up that picture again with all the different songs on it. So I decided to make a list of my favorites from Final Fantasy here. And just before I talk about some of the few here, I just kind of want to talk about the Final Fantasy music in general. Um, so up until Final Fantasy VIII, all of the music was made from MIDI tracks and synthesized instruments.
Oh,
And
interesting.
yeah, and so once Final Fantasy VIII came around, he started to add real instruments in because they had the technology to do that now with CDs.
Yeah.
Since they were on CDs now instead of cartridges. And yeah, I think each song is he put so much time and effort into composing each song for each area. Every track fits so well with the area that it's designed for.
Yeah.
The fanfare and battle songs are always some of the key highlights of the soundtrack. I always can't wait to hear what the new battle theme for a Final Fantasy game is going to be, or what the fanfare is once you win the battle. And
Yeah.
yeah, and really, with each new Final Fantasy game, Nobuo Uematsu challenged himself to make something new, which is what I really appreciate. For example, Final Fantasy like 6 has a very fantasy themed soundtrack mixed with more metal, we're not metal, electronic pieces
Oh,
here,
okay.
but it's very
Okay.
fantasy based. And then yeah, so and then with Final Fantasy 7, that has a lot of really electronic, more synthesizer based music. And as we get through 8 and 9, we come back to more of that fantasy style. 8 actually has a lot of really cool jazzy piano pieces to it too.
Ooh, gotta love some jazzy piano.
Who doesn't like
Yeah,
jazz?
yeah. And
Oh, you
so
like jazz?
yeah. So okay, so now that I've kind of talked about it a little bit, I'll go through like some of my favorites here from this list. So I'm gonna basically kind of pick one or two from each game that I've listed here. So Dancing Mad from Final Fantasy VI is the final boss theme, and it's amazing. It's very progressive rock inspired, which is a big influence for Nobuo Uematsu. So if
Okay.
like you've ever listened to a progressive rock track and how they get into these intense breakdowns of drums and guitar and piano, it just goes crazy, and Dancing
Yeah.
Mad does that, and it's fantastic.
Hmm.
Right below that, the victory fanfare for Final Fantasy 7 is amazing. It's the
Oh, yeah.
best, it's the best one in my opinion out of all of them. Highly recommend you go and listen to that one. And yeah, below that one, the High Wind Takes to the Skies. So this is the airship theme whenever you're driving around in your airship. And all of the airship themes in the Final Fantasy games are fantastic. They bring about this sense of a grand adventure and that you can go anywhere and do anything,
Yeah.
which is what I absolutely love about them. Um, Going further down into Final Fantasy VIII, Martial Law is a really good one. That's one with some pianos, some nice string instruments. There's this really nice piano sound that he just busts out a beautiful piano move. Let me tell you, it's absolutely
Sorry, let me just
fantastic.
bust out my piano here.
Yeah, yeah. Ride On is the airship theme for that game too. Really another really fantastic soundtrack. Again, just you that feeling of you can go anywhere and do anything. This is your
Right.
adventure to go and
Yeah.
do whatever.
Very immersed, yeah.
Yeah. Um Going down, Black Mage Village from Final Fantasy 9 was awesome. The first time I hear it, it opens with this like bassy drum. It's like dun 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 dun. And then it breaks down to this awesome synthesizer breakdown
Ooh, okay.
afterwards. Is really, really gonna. Um Also going down there, Esto Gaza from Final Fantasy 9 is a really good chill song, a song that makes me think when I hear it. It's very relaxing and just kind of is a really good reflective song. And it
Yeah.
fits where it is in a video game. It's a like very big pilgrimage spot where this song is played in the game. So it's very, very fitting. Um, Aboard the Hildegard is the airship theme once again. I'm not gonna say this for the third time. It's amazing. Go listen to it. The battle theme for Final Fantasy X is absolutely awesome. It is my favorite battle theme from the entire series. Pretty closely tied with Final Fantasy VII, but I think 10 is my favorite. It just has this awesome opening bass and trumpet to it and is absolutely amazing. Otherworld from Final Fantasy X is another funny example because it is just a straight up heavy metal song in
Let's go.
and it slaps. It plays during the final boss fight and it is amazing. I highly recommend you go check that one out
right
too.
now.
Yeah, it is awesome. And then I guess the one I'll talk about on Final Fantasy 12 here is Battle with an Esper. This is really good. It starts off pretty epic, but then it gets to this section where it's these violins going crazy and this choir comes in and it just is like, holy shit, I am fighting something like ridiculously beyond my comprehension. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Gotta love it.
So
Gotta
yeah,
love
that's me just talking about how much I love Nobuo Uematsu.
it.
Fantastic composer. I love him to death. I still want to get some of his soundtracks on vinyl at some point.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I do have I did get the deluxe version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and
Oof.
I'm not going to be able to open it here because it's pretty hard to open and annoying, but there is a soundtrack in here that comes with it.
Nice.
So yeah. And then I have a few other ones I would like to talk about. Another little selection here, if you will. All right, so we're going to talk about the Persona series.
Persona's good.
Persona is fantastic. I love it. I think what's really cool about each Persona game is that they all have a different vibe with the music. So for example, Persona 3 is very hip hop inspired. It has a lot of hip hop beats to it and just the way some of the songs are sung when there's actual lyrics to it. And in Persona 5, there's a lot of really good guitar riffs and smoother jazzy type songs. Yeah. So the main composer for these games is Shoji Meguro. And yeah, awesome work. So I've got a few on here. When the Moon's Reaching Out Stars from Persona 3 is really, really good. It's a nice what do I want to say here? It's a nice kind of like hip-hoppy song, jazzy song. It's really, really good. Specialist from Persona 4 is my go-to song if I'm in a bad mood because it instantly puts me in a good mood. It's just a very happy and feel-good track.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is pretty funny because that's the track that plays when you're being quizzed in class. Yeah. Going down from there, Phantom is the opening track that plays on the main menu of Persona 5, and it is an absolute vibe. It is a great opening song. I love it to death. Going on from there, Last Surprise is the battle theme for Persona 5, and I know, Eric, you've played Persona 5 as well here. That battle theme just hits.
It's good.
That battle theme is good. It is amazing. Life Will Change also from Persona 5 is really good, specifically the instrumental version. It plays when you're just about to finish a palace in the game and goes back to those awesome guitar riffs. It is insane. And I've got a few other ones on there that I highly recommend you check out as well. So moving down from that, the Ratchet and Clank series. So this one is made by David Bergeau, and he did all the soundtracks for the Ratchet and Clank games up until Quest for Booty. So he did quite a lot of them before he stepped down as the composer for those games. He also did the soundtrack for the first Resistance game, which if you've never played the Resistance series on PS3, highly recommend you check it out. First-person shooter from Insomniac, really, really cool. And I really like the Ratchet and Clank music because David does such a great job of blending orchestra music with DJ techno beats. Is how I would describe it.
That's good.
Yeah, so a lot of the time the songs often follow a like DJ kind of dubstep style of where the songs follow a build up, right? So the first little bit kind of establishes that little techno beat before there's a drop, and then it really kicks into the main jam.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Yeah. And so some of my favorite ones here, the Rilgar Blackwater City has such an iconic theme to it.
We've been looking at the same photo for so long.
Yeah. So
5 updates.
so this is a good example of that orchestra being blended with techno. The opening is a very string heavy introduction. It's like dun 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 dun, and then it goes into this insane like drum beat with techno sounds surrounding it as well. That one's really, really good. The Tabora Crystal Desert from Ratchet and Clank 2 is really good. It has this like outback Aussie feel to it, again with that techno vibe just straight up injected into it.
Yeah.
And then what else here is really good? Oh, this is a kind of a fun one. The Hollow Star Studios Secret Agent Clank music. It's very spy orientated, but still has that cool techno vibe to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you like techno music, or just electronic music in general, I highly recommend you check out the Ratchet and Clank series. It's absolutely excellent.
Yeah.
And then the last one I want to talk about is the Kingdom Hearts series here. So Yoko Shimomura, fantastic music. It has such a diverse track listing in it. Each song perfectly fits what's going on in each location and what's happening on the screen. So every area has its main theme, and then it has a remixed battle version of it when you get into a battle. And so you'll have tracks from like you'll have ominous choir tracks that play while you're taking a dive into your soul. You'll have more lighthearted tracks when you're visiting the world of Steamboat Willie. And then you'll have these just intense orchestra themes during boss battles. My absolute favorite one being for the Twilight Thorn boss in Kingdom Hearts 2, which is Tension Rising. Tension Rising is my favorite songs. And I will just preface this by saying most of the songs I am talking about here is the original versions of the songs. She did go back and remake a lot of them for the 1.5 and 2.5 releases, and they're good. Don't get me wrong, but I think some of these songs hit better in the original than they do in these remade ones. Tension Rising being a really big example of it. Tension Rising in the original game is so much more in your face. Like, there is shit going on right now, and you need to be scared. Whereas it loses some of that edge in the remake of
That's
it.
fair.
And what kind of disappointed me is they didn't give you the option in these remasters to switch between the original and the remastered music.
Yeah, I can see how that can be an issue.
Yeah. Like in the re-releases of Final Fantasy X and 12, you get to pick between the rearranged music and the original music, which I think is really cool. And I really wish they had that as an option. But if you buy Kingdom Hearts on PC, they have mods so you can put the original music.
Just mod the game quickly.
Yeah, so just going over a quick few ones here. Dive Into the Heart is classic. This is the second track, technically third track you hear in the original Kingdom Hearts games. And I think it's been in almost every one. This is one, you're in your soul or your heart looking in, and it's very this orchestral choir playing with just a piano in the background, and it's very moody and makes it weighty. You feel the intensity of the situation that you're in right now. Traverse Town is a very light-hearted song. I don't know, it's just a really good feel-good song. It's got that nice like town at night, like a nice night market kind of vibe to it, which is really cool. Yeah. And just talking about some boss music here. 13th Struggle from Kingdom Hearts 2 is amazing. The Encounter is one of my absolute favorites from Kingdom Hearts 2. I probably listen to that every day, if I'm going to be honest. I love that song. And And yeah, like again, talking about how each song fits where it is. Space Paranoids is the song that plays during the Tron area of the game, and it's straight techno, it's straight electronic, and it just fits perfectly well into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's like my list there. And real quick before we end, because we are at the end here, I did want to show off a few other of my physical soundtracks that I do have. So what's really cool is in the original Persona 4 release, it's actually a 2-disc release. So you have the game there, and then they actually give you a soundtrack for it
Oh,
as
that's
well.
cool.
Yeah, completely for free too.
Nice.
Which is awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think Skyward Sword did that when it came out, because Skyward Sword was the 20th anniversary, so it gave you like a 20th anniversary day. The fact that I didn't talk about Legend of Zelda, that's a story for another topic. Legend of Zelda music is great.
Yeah.
I almost did. I stuck myself to 3.
Mhm.
I think getting physical CD is just cool.
It is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I'm so excited. I don't know if you boys have seen them. Video Games Live, such a cool show when they come back to touring.
I really want. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I went and saw them in 2018 or 17. Downtown Toronto. Just one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. They had the original singer of the Pokemon theme song, and having a full concert hall singing the Pokemon theme song with the original singer is some experience that's just insane.
That's
really
cool. That's
because it's one of those things where it's like no one's afraid to sing because it's video game music.
Yeah,
we're out here because we like this music, and this is what we want. And Video Games Live just does such good compositions of orchestral video game tracks. So yeah, hearing all of Massey Hall sing the Pokemon theme song with the original singer,
that's cool,
was insane. I loved it so much.
That's cool. Yeah, I wanted to go see the Final Fantasy VII remake orchestra that was coming, but just didn't work out with timing and everything.
You know who we didn't talk about?
Who?
Toby Fox.
Yeah.
There's so many good, again, Toby Fox is such a good composer. Undertale, such a good soundtrack. And Megalovania is obviously great.
Yeah.
Megalovania is great, but the soundtrack behind Undertale is so powerful.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that Toby Fox did it alone is so he's such a good composer.
I think that's the big thing too, is these composers that are just doing it themselves too.
Yeah, I really want to go see Undertale live.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I
want to see Undertale live.
Yeah. So another one I got here is I got the special edition of the Scott Pilgrim video game that limited run released, and you get the soundtrack on CD with that one too. This has got some really cool 8-bit music in it. I recommend you check that out too. And then the last physical one I got here is only my real I love this. This is cool. So this is actually the box set for Persona 5 soundtrack on vinyl.
That's a flex.
Oh wow.
I waited a long time to get this.
Yeah, that's a flex. Okay.
I think this was a 6-month wait to get this when I ordered it, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to get it at one point.
Cool.
But yeah, that's the only soundtrack I have on vinyl. I want to get more on vinyl at some point.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then I guess just a couple other odd ones that I'm just going to mention here briefly. I don't want to extend this any much longer, but the Devil May Cry 3 soundtrack is really, really good. Honestly, all the Devil May Cry soundtracks are really, really good. The soundtrack for Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is really good. That's another very hip hop inspired soundtrack as well. And and then the last one I'm going to mention here is, come on, the Doom soundtrack.
Oh
yeah.
Come on,
so
you
good.
can't beat the Doom soundtrack.
So
BFG Division is amazing. I don't know if you guys know this fun fact, but in BFG Division, there's a point where this really not ear piercing, but higher pitch screech comes in after the main guitar riff. That is actually a synthesized chainsaw. He literally recorded a chainsaw and put it through, like a
Dude,
synthesizer.
that is so cool.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of heavy machinery actually laid throughout the soundtrack.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
soundtrack.
Mick Gordon, fantastic composer. Also worked on Prey. Yeah, I highly recommend you go check out his music too. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and then last one, I promise. Last one is the Fallout 3 and New Vegas soundtracks with all the 50s and
Ooh.
60s music.
So good.
That's the first time New Vegas was the first time I've ever heard a Frank Sinatra song with Blue Moon, and that still to this day is my favorite Frank Sinatra song.
Fallout 3, baby. That whole soundtrack. Those songs live in my head.
Yep. Rent free.
Rent free. Yeah.
I would like to see more video game music come to Spotify too. Spotify actually does have a lot of video game music. I will say, from what I've mentioned, all of the Final Fantasy music is on Spotify, and all the Persona music is on Spotify. Ratchet and Clank and Kingdom Hearts is not, unfortunately, which really sucks.
Okami's fully on Spotify because Capcom's really good at porting stuff.
Yeah, Capcom is really good at putting all their soundtracks out, which is awesome. Yeah,
and Video Games Live has a bunch of really good mixes on their Spotify. Highly recommend Video Games Live.
Yeah.
Great.
God, man, I love video game music. I listen to it every day. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be a topic that comes back up when we talk about our favorite content creators.
I'm sure.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I guess now that I've talked a lot about music,
Ethan just earned his whole paycheck in this one.
I
don't get paid.
The 1 cent we make off
I was ready to nerd out about this. I think my true nerd really came out with this today.
Oh yeah, you could see your googly eyes. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
We talk about this.
There's more.
one more, I swear.
Yeah. We literally could probably do an entire episode on just video game music.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Yeah. Season 2,
Season
yeah.
2,
Yeah.
baby.
I really wish we had the ability to at least preview some of these tracks here on the show, but unfortunately YouTube and copyright is a little bit annoying. But
we'll find some covers.
Yeah, you'll find some covers.
For another.
Yeah.
There's some covers that you can play.
Yeah. You know what I'll do? For all the tracks that I listed that are on Spotify, I will make a Spotify playlist for them and I will put them down in the description.
Oh, big brain.
Yeah, big brain. Yeah, all right. So with that said, that's going to be the end for today. I want to thank everyone here for coming out and watching us. We appreciate it as always. And yeah, we will be back next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. to do it all again. Until then, game on, stay beautiful. Cheers, everyone. Oh.